Cardano is also down 0.36. We've got Avalanche sitting down 0.15, and Shiba Inu is sitting down 0.79. So kind of a mixed bag for the morning, and we will see how that plays out.
I don't know what's
We
going on, but we're not streaming to Piper Academy.
Who are we streaming to? My channel?
Lucky Chan. I don't understand.
Oh, it says we're streaming to Piper Academy now.
It just keeps saying upcoming. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're good. Go ahead. Continue.
So, on the economic data side of things, we have for the morning coming out at 8:45 my time, so 9:45 Eastern. We will have Chicago PMI. Right after that, at 10:30 Eastern time, we will have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. So these are two big indicators for your producer side of things. So the Chicago PMI is the producers, and the Fed Manufacturing Index will also be for your factories and stuff like that. Your the 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 small things that America has kept here for their manufacturing. You do have Fed Chair Powell. Is that? Yeah. Oh no, this is wrong week. I don't
You're
I don't
good.
know why it was on the wrong week. So we have scratch all that. We have used car sales coming in month over month. We do have a few Fed chairs coming in at this afternoon that will be speaking on some market sentiment. We do have as well later in the afternoon two more Fed chairs speaking, and that will be after market close. So 5 o'clock my time puts it at 6 o'clock and 6:30 Eastern time. So nothing really too heavy for today. I was wondering why it was on the wrong one because I was like, didn't we just get all that data? We do have a National Development and Reform Commission briefing coming out of China, which will be right before they decide what they're really going to do for their economic policy. And that's coming out for their Tuesday. So 9 o'clock my time, which would be 10 o'clock Eastern time, they will have a giant speech coming out about kind of the direction that they want to take their economy and their path that they will be moving forward. I know they are in a giant economic recession, and they have been putting lots of dollars into their system. So we will kind of see if they will be continuing on that path, trying to put more dollars in their system, or if they're going to pivot and they're going to do some rate hikes, or they're going to float more dollars into certain sectors because a lot of their sectors are held up by their government. So we will kind of see how they posture for the rest of the year. Um, I also saw that the European Union is going to be doing a rate cut going into October to keep inflation in control. So another thing to keep in mind.
A rate cut to keep inflation in
Yes.
control?
Yes. To keep it from going too low.
Mm.
So they don't want to slide below their 2%. And so they're going to cut rates to keep it at that 2%. So it is looking like they might come in at like 1.8, and they don't want to do that and overheat things. So
Mm.
I do have the liquidation heat map pulled up. We've got liquidity sitting below us. We've got liquidity at 62,000. Um, almost on the dot, 62,000. We've also got some a little bit below that, sitting at 61.6.
I'm so
So those are
mad,
the
dude.
two real hot spot. What?
I'm so mad because I woke up this morning, looked at the price, and I was like, yes, my short is doing a. Apparently, I closed it in profit last night before I went to bed.
Well, as they say, you never go broke taking profits, David.
Yeah.
Find your re-entry point and make that money.
I'm so mad.
Well, it could have gone either way. It could have continued its uptrend, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll tell the people on that Bitcoin overview whether it'll continue that uptrend or not.
No. Not good.
Well, on the stock fear and greed, we are sitting 74 in greed, up a point from last week. For crypto, we are sitting at 50, as neutral gets. So we will kind of see how things play out for the day.
Max indecision.
Yes, yes. But I love it because after the information I just got, I have a chance to reinvest some of my money and continue on that investment if my sentiment is right, and we might be going down a little bit further.
There we go. All right, let's get into the beef of the day.
The Ethereum article, and I'm pretty happy with it. They are having a massive upgrade. I know you had sent the article to me, and I had seen it a little bit earlier than that, and I just hadn't got around to sending it to you yet. I was
Hmm.
in bed super early yesterday. Like 6:30, like
Mm.
way before my normal time. So, this new Ethereum proposal to increase throughput by 50%, a new Ethereum improvement proposal would slash block times on Ethereum by 33% and increase data capacity, increasing overall throughput by 50%, developers claim. Introduced on October 5th by Illyriad Games co founder Ben Adams, EIP 7781 aims to slash block times on Ethereum network by 8 seconds from 12 seconds, increasing the latency of based rollouts and boost the capacity of blobs. And this is just like the information that builds up the blocks. A temporary data structure to reduce layer 2 network fees, which we already saw a massive move down on about 70% of those costs. So just bringing that a little bit lower and allowing Ethereum to do a little bit more. In an October 6th post on X, pseudonymous developer Seagar said EIP 7781 would be the first huge step towards improving the base layer of Ethereum network, as the bulk of developers' focus is being herded towards Ethereum layer 2 networks as scaling solutions. Here's the kind of, let me zoom in on that. The new EIP to increase Ethereum's throughput by 50%, 12-second block times to 8 seconds, 6 data blobs per block to 9 data blobs per block, and DEXs would become about 1.22x more efficient. If approved, this would be a first huge step in improving Ethereum's layer 1 performance. Aside from increasing mainnet throughput, the proposal also aims to distribute bandwidth usage over time, lowering peak bandwidth requirements without increasing individual block or blob counts. Ethereum Foundation researcher Justin Drake approved the EIP on GitHub, saying that its immediate proposal aligned with some of the broader goals proposed by Ethereum's co founder Vitalik Buterin, an Ethereum scaling organization. Drake said that reducing block times would see decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap v3 become 1.22x more efficient and could save roughly 100 million in central exchange to decentralized exchange arbitrage per year, ultimately leading to better execution for users. That kind of just touches on kind of everything that goes into that. So you have it increases throughput by half a, by half, an effective increase of 45 million gas limit and 9 blob limit. This roughly aligns with proposed 40 million gas to limit by pumpgas.org and an 8 block limit by Vitalik and others. It opens the Overton window in favor of slot duration changes and would be a great warm up for future slot duration increases. It makes the slot duration a nice power of 2, aligning with the rest of the beacon chain parameters. It it will make dexes like Uniswap v3 roughly 12 eighths or 1.22x more efficient, saving roughly 100 million in centralized to decentralized arbitrage, which is a big that has been a big problem with Ethereum, and which is why dexes were so prevalent beforehand. It will improve the user experience of L1 contracts, reducing confirmations by 1/3, which is a massive thing on that because it'll allow things to just move a little bit faster. Ethereum, it's faster than Bitcoin, but it could have been a whole lot faster when you're dealing with these smart contracts, which is the whole purpose of Ethereum. The proposal would improve the user experience of the Ethereum smart contracts by reducing confirmations by 33% and smoothing out peak load across more slots. Drake added, several developers noted that reducing block times could also harm solo stakers.
Hmm.
Shorter block times would cause execution state growth, increasing the amount of data on blockchain. This requires more powerful hardware and bandwidth to propagate the blockchain's state in less time. On October 6th, Xpost, Sinaham Ventures partner Adam Cochran said the new EIP seemed reasonable with its imposition on solo stakers as long as the gas limit per block remained unchanged. Would want to see some tests on the IO hardware and staker return ping times to make sure it doesn't cut off some home stakers, but it seems like it should be within the range for most. Cochran said. Still, increased requirements for stakers would pose a problem for Ethereum's long term path towards decentralization. This EIP comes just 3 days after Buterin discussed the idea of reducing the minimum amount required to become a validator on the Ethereum network from 36 Ether amount to 16 or 24 in a bid to improve network security and decentralization. So,
Cool,
big
cool.
things, big things coming to Ethereum, which
What's your big overall take on that whole thing?
um honestly, it just remains to be seen what kind of adoption it's going to get because it's only been proposed.
Hmm.
So, as you know, with cryptos, you get the validators that get their vote. And if it's not voted in, then it doesn't get its change. And you will see if it actually does affect the staking for people like, I don't know if um, Piper actually stakes his Ethereum, but if he does, that gives him the power of a validator node and to vote on changes. But if it becomes less efficient for him to have that staked, then he wouldn't vote that change in. So it would just depend on how it affects the small person. So we will kind of see how this all plays out. I do have to head out for the morning, so my ride
Yeah.
is here.
All right. Thank you
So
for the breakdown on the Ethereum upgrade. Maybe we can get into it a little more later on.
yeah,
But yeah,
most definitely.
I hope
I
you're
hope
having a.
everyone has a great day.
Yep. We all hope you have a great day, sir. So
Oh, most definitely.
we'll be
I
seeing
will
you in the
see y'all in the
chats.
chats. Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have a good day, man.
Doodles.
Peace. All right, let's go ahead and get into some Bitcoin charts. All right, so this is what I'm looking at right now. I was just drawing this up as BC was giving us the breakdown on Ethereum. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. All right, so far so good on the forecast. The forecast is still playing out, guys. Forecast still playing out. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go ahead and bring it up. There it is right there. Okay, so we have done a retrace. Now the question is, are we done retracing, or are we going to get back up here into that 65K level and then retrace and then pull back down? Right now I'm just watching this trend line right here that is going up and to the right. Let's go ahead and get rid of that forecast. So I'm watching that trend right here. If that breaks, take the target from this high to this low, because this is the one that broke structure right here. This wave right here. Throw some waves in the chat. And then we go from where price breaks out from, and then we place our pole from here to where price breaks out from. If it broke out right here, then we would be looking at around 56,850 ish. So that's what I would be looking for if price was to break down right now on this current candle. If it doesn't break down until it gets all the way up here, then of course, you know, our target moves up with it. But right now, that target would be 56,900, 850 to 900, somewhere in there. So basically what I'm thinking is that we will get at least a sweep of this low here. After, you know, we get the deviation above the range here. So I would expect a sweep of the low down here at the very least. But I do think still that we're going to take out that low over there. So all of this price action is just kind of corrective to me. It's all a bunch of 3-wave or 7-wave structures. So nothing real impulsive yet. So it's kind of playing out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on what your goals are for this cycle. Though on the macro channels, we can see we do have a trend line or a channel line there. So a little more confluence building up there. Quarterly VWAP box. I need. So this is my Q1 VWAP high-low based fib. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think I have a video from last week on that, or a stream anyway from last week on that. But a little more confluence. We got a 0.5 there as well at 57,344. Local power of 3. Still waiting for this whole thing to play out. Local triangle getting back down. Look at that, coming right back down to this level right here. So all signs are really kind of pointing to this level here, at least as a short-term target If not, and then if we come back up in here, we cross into this, we cross this level, this low right here, then we'll probably get that correction like that. Maybe not a straight line. I would prefer a straight line so we can go ahead and get it over with, but yeah, it is what it is. So yep, still bearish on the old Bitcoin. I've got my quarterly fixed range volume profile here. POC sits right here, but we also have the Q3 point of control is sitting there at 57.8, so right back into our target box. So a lot of things lining up that we're going to be going down, a little more downside. This level here is just the golden pocket of this move down right here from this high to this low, so I just drew that out. And up here was the 786, the 886, and the high. So I just put boxes on there, clean it up a little bit instead of having all these lines everywhere. So yeah, events coming up. We've got presidential election, FOMC. So if I go ahead and put my forecast back on, this could drag all the way out. I mean, this whole down move could drag out to the election, to the next FOMC. So all of this can be pushed to the right. But like I've told you before, I'm more concerned about market structure than I am of time and price. But I do think that low gets swept and we come down and we take care of this inefficiency. This is a weekly fair value gap. Weekly fair value gap right there. We do have a quarterly point of control here at about 42.8, 42.750. I don't know that we get down there. I think we front run price and things get bought up before we get all the way down there. But so far we came up. Looks like we took 50% of last week's candle, maybe, of the candle body to start the week already. Nope, bounce off the 382. So it might even be a harsher rejection than it might be a harsh rejection. Is just what I'm getting at. So yeah, we're looking at this this support right here. So as far as upside, let me close some things out real quick. Close the forecast. Go down to the, well, first of all, let's take a look at our Prime Oscillator Pro. Plus, we can see that our volumetrics did turn green for a second, but our money flow is still in the red. Our True 7 is above the zero line. Our Trend Fusion is above the zero line. We do have an overbought block printed printed on this candle right here. So that was telling us that we're getting a little bit overheated. And then we got the correction to the downside. So let's go ahead and zoom out, or zoom in a little more rather. Let's see, all I see is a bunch of built up liquidity that we could be getting down into. Let's go ahead and throw on our Market Oracle Pro. So we do have the dynamic reactor sitting just below us on the 1 hour. Let's zoom back out to the 4 hour and see where that's sitting. It's still below us, so above it, we're still bullish. Below it, we're bearish. So we're still above it on the 1 hour. Of course, breaking this support here and then breaking the dynamic reactor would have us going a little more bullish. I would look for a back test of that dynamic reactor of this block right here. We can see we got a nice block of orders right here. So I would look for price to come into here and then possibly push lower if it got a nice rejection off of that. Could be putting in a head and shoulders also right there. So back up. Let's go to the daily chart and see what we're looking like on there. Yep, we have the dynamic reactor. We are above the dynamic reactor, but we could easily push below that. We've been trading kind of, we just zoom out, you know, for the past several months, we're just going above and below that dynamic reactor. So it's like kind of like we're consolidating at it. We do have the quantum reactor still above us, the daily quantum reactor still above us. We did come into it and then reverse right off of it, kind of as expected, but it's also right there at that level that I think we could come back up to and then reject from. So that's what I'm kind of watching for right now. But so that just all depends on if we lose this trend line or not, I think. So on the daily, we do have our money flow. Everything is below the zero line. Money flow is below the zero line, and our volumetric volume is coming to the downside. So it's not looking good on the daily. Sometimes those take a little bit of time to play out, but it shouldn't be but a couple of days, at most a week. So that's what I'm looking for on the Bitcoin. So yeah, we are sitting right here at this previous area of resistance that we are now coming back down to test for support, and that we could see a bounce from where that pushes us up to that upper level. So it's just steady watching that that trend line. It is Monday, so I don't typically trade on Mondays. I mean, it's got to be a really clean setup, and very obvious, very clean setup for me. But yeah, the 1 hour is looking pretty bearish. The money flow is still green, so wouldn't take any shorts just yet. I would like to see a bearish divergence or something form on a move up. So a move up like this back to the top of the range actually would help provide us another nice bearish divergence in here that we could play off of. You know, get that higher high on our price, the lower high on our momentum, and then that tells us that momentum is not following price, therefore the move is running out of steam, so we can look to short it. That is all that I've got on Bitcoin for now. We did talk about Ethereum, so I want to take a look at that. I mean, basically riding that trend line as well. So, but it is below the, turn the magnet off. It is below the dynamic reactor, so currently it is trying to, it's fighting up against it. It's trying to get back above it. So just, I mean, this is the same thing. We're just channeling. So we'll see if it can hold that channel or if it's going to break. I think it'll break at some point. When is the question? So I'm not here to try and predict time. I'm just trying to give you my probabilities on what I think is going to happen, which I still think is more downside across the board. So that's what I'm looking at on that. Ethereum, I haven't done a whole lot of ETH, so this just we still have that resistance here that was once support, turned into resistance, and now its price is trying to get back above it. I still think another dip below, and then we can move to the upside, come down and grab some liquidity, and then shift to the upside. Go over to the Dixie. Let's take a look at that. Dixie is pushing to the upside. Found resistance at my random drawing line here. But yeah, it is coming up to the dynamic reactor, which is coming up bearish to bearishly test it. But so far, my uh, very loose, my very rough forecast on this is playing out kind of as expected. So, kind of looking for some more upside on the Dixie. It looks like it could be cooling off a little bit. I mean, it is approaching that dynamic reactor in a bullish manner, so could expect some cooling off. So possibly we could see some consolidation before a move up, and then it rolls over. Looking for November 5th and 7th, right there, and there, right here. So, I mean, it's lining up perfectly just about with the election and the next FOMC, which I think will be a very big week for markets, or a very chaotic week for markets, depending on how you look at it. So, yeah, Dixie's still looking like it's got more upside in it, which means more downside for our risk on assets. Taking a look at the risk on assets, the Russell 2000 is what I'm watching for the small caps in the stock market. But when this thing moves, that means that we are essentially in a risk on environment, as people are willing to put their money, well, at least a lot of regular folk that are in the stock market are willing to put their money into riskier assets, riskier small cap assets, which means they're more likely to put their money into Bitcoin and crypto. So when the Russell breaks out, that is typically a good time across the board for a risk on assets. Let's go ahead. So just looking for that to break out, and then that could really start expanding and getting us some moves to the upside, some risk on moves. The total too. So this is your altcoin market minus. So this is everything in crypto minus Bitcoin. This does include stable coins, unfortunately. But yeah, we do see we have the quantum reactor moving to the upside. We are getting a little bit of a bounce, still kind of holding support on the 3-day. On the 3-day dynamic reactor, let's go ahead and go to the weekly, since this is kind of like an index. So yeah, I can see us getting back down here and getting another tap on that dynamic reactor on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. I bet we're below it. Yep. So we're below the dynamic reactor on the daily. So, or the quantum reactor and the dynamic reactor. So just like Bitcoin, we just been kind of trading above it and below it, mostly below it as of late. So we're trying to fight back and get back above it. It is, at least if we're looking at just the closed candles or the candle bodies, kind of forming a head and shoulders in here, which would just lead to a move to the upside. It is 6:30, so I do have to roll. I do have to get out of here. Thank you all for joining the show this morning. Got a massive Ethereum upgrade coming up. We weren't able to get into the Ripple ruling and how it strengthens Coinbase's appeal in ongoing legal battle with the SEC, but Ripple continues to fight the good fight for all of us in crypto. So if you see an XRPer, I don't even know, community member, tell them thank you for their battle with the SEC. I don't know. But yeah, it is Monday, October 7th. So we have less than a month until the U.S. presidential election, and exactly 1 month until the next FOMC. So things could start getting a little bit crazy over the next few weeks. You never know when we might get an October surprise for the election. Happens almost every election. Pretty much happens every election. So we'll see what we get on that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. So I hope you all have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful, radical day. Ride the waves. Also, go over to make sure you stay on this channel at 9:30 a.m. We have the morning market report, and it is Monday. So we also have the crypto nightcap tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't think they've moved that time back to 8 yet if they were going to do it, but just in case, make sure you check at 8, see if they're going live. But yeah, that's gonna be, I'm trying to think. Don't forget to join the Piper Academy Discord. Don't forget to check out Chart Prime. Links in the description below. Become a Piper Academy member today, and yeah, get you some aviation coffee and legendary aviation coffee, and yeah, I think that's it. Oh, all right. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next one. Wake up. It's going to be a good day.